You're listening to Genuine Chit-Chat. This show is for real.
Hello my friends and welcome to another episode of Genuine Chit-Chat. This is just a recording I'm doing in front of every podcast release in August and I believe the last one in July because myself and Megan are going to America for the whole month, so the podcasting output is going to be slightly different. Now I believe I should have lined up something for every week. In case I do miss one, I apologise, I'm not in the country, so my social media will also be a lot more America orientated and travel orientated, but there won't be as much podcasting promotion over there. But fret not, you should still be getting loads of content. All Patreon supporters are going to be getting one episode of Afterthoughts every single week, so I think I've already lined all that up already. But also on this main feed, you're going to get a Clone Wars conversation this month. You might even get two. I'm going to aim to release a monthly M&M as well, and then there's probably going to be like a couple of little bonus things, a bit of Patreon stuff, maybe a book review, that kind of stuff. But I'm basically recording this one intro just to release on the start of every episode I release while I'm away, just so you guys are all aware. So, thank you for your support as always. Like, subscribe, share, talk to your friends about this show, and if you are a newer listener and you haven't gone through the back catalogue, this is a great opportunity to do so. And if you're not already subscribed on YouTube, please go over to that, because obviously you get video versions of the vast majority of conversations I have, and more importantly, everything is in playlists, so you can check out every Star Wars conversation I've had with certain authors, and otherwise you can check out every conversation I've had about religion and spirituality, or world and exploration, or the weird and wonderful different things that don't really fit into any categories. So YouTube's a really, really great place. That's youtube.com/genuinechitchat, but you can find me on any social media platform at Genuine Chit-Chat for all of the stuff that I put out. But wherever you're listening, just know I appreciate you. Check out the links in the description to the guest spots I've done recently over at Spider Down the Secret Boars, Back to the Filmography, as well as a few appearances on Comics in Motion, that kind of thing. But yeah, my podcasting output is going to be slightly different for August, but after that, when we come back in September, we're going to come out swinging, because I've already got 2 recordings due in September, and I'm currently recording this in July, and then I've got plans for some more cool stuff going forward. So just thank you for your support as always. I appreciate you hugely. Megan and I will be recording a few things while we're in America, talking about our travels and stuff like that. I imagine that kind of thing will be one of the first things I put out when I return. Whether that will just be on Patreon first or on the main feed, we shall see. But thank you as always, friends. I appreciate you. Subscribe, like, comment, share with your friends, and please leave reviews. If you want to get myself and Megan a wedding gift, then please leave reviews on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, wherever you listen. If there is a rating system or anything like that, please do it, because it really, really helps the show out and helps get more people involved in the Genuine Chit-Chat audience. So thanks again for listening. I appreciate you hugely, and I'll talk to you when I return as a married man. Welcome to Genuine Chit-Chat, where we have honest conversations with interesting people. And I'm your host, Mike Burton.
Sick of this. You're smiling because it's recording.
I have just started recording. I wasn't recording when you said the original I'm sick of your nonsense.
I'm sick of your nonsense.
But once you started singing it was recording. We are doing Deadpool Wolverine currently. I'm not going to keep singing it because I don't know where I was going with that. We're doing Deadpool Wolverine. No, okay. Well, that is actually a pretty good... that's a pretty good song to do, actually. But anyway...
Oh, no. How does the Marvel music go?
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 da, 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 da. What I was starting to do was Pirates of the Caribbean.
I mean, that is still Disney.
Dun, dun,
well,
dun, dun,
I suppose
dun, dun,
Marvel
dun,
Studios
dun,
is
dun,
before
dun.
Disney's take over technically. But we're doing Deadpool Wolverine, which is Deadpool 3 basically, and it is, as of recording this, in 2 days we'll be in Las Vegas.
This is America.
Yep. Before we're getting married, and this
We're
will be
going to
out.
a chapel and we're going to get married.
Yes, and by the time this comes out, we will already be married, because it's going to be in. I don't know.
So hello everyone from the future. This is from Mr. and Mrs. Burton.
Yeah. How weird is that to say? But yes, we're doing Deadpool Wolverine because we watched it at the cinema. The last film we're seeing before we're a married couple at the cinema. And the first film, as people may know for our appearance on Back to Filmography, was The Meg. So, obviously, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and then some of the other characters as well. You've got Daphne Keane, obviously, as X-23. You've got
obviously
Emma Corrin as Cassandra Nova. And you've got Matthew McFadden as Mr. Paradox. I think it's most of
Mr. Paradox.
Rob Delaney as Peter.
Pedigree.
And then we've got lots and lots of... You think you're so funny. We've got lots and lots of cameos.
It's the fact that you just completely ignored me.
We'll get into the cameos with a spoiler warning. So first we'll do a spoiler-free thought.
Spoiler! No.
No spoiler, retraction.
How do you say spoiler backwards?
Rel-oips?
Reloips?
Yeah, nice. So, Deadpool Wolverine. What did you think? Like, how did you rate the first two Wolverine films?
I don't remember them.
At all?
No.
Well, do you remember how you felt loosely about them?
I enjoyed them. That's all I can remember. That's literally it. That's all I can remember. I know that I enjoyed them. I know that I distinctly remember where I was when I watched the first one. I was on a sleepover.
Yeah. Maybe we should do like a special Deadpool day and we watch all three.
I think we should have watched them, but there was just no time.
There was no time. No, normally I would have done, but there wasn't any time.
I literally had no free time.
Barely had time to actually do it. We only just managed.
Yeah, I mean, that same day I drove my mum to and back. I drove my mum to the airport and I drove myself back. So that's what I did the morning that we went to see this film.
And that was yesterday.
And that was yesterday.
Which is 3 days before we fly.
Yeah, no, I remember where I was. I was in Essex.
Yeah.
Because one of Jill's... Well, he is my friend as well, but he's Jill's friend.
Yeah.
So one of my housemates at uni, one of their friends from Kendo, was having like a party for his birthday at his parents' house, and they are fucking minted. Like, there are wings to this house.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, the place in Box Hill.
Yeah, it's so much bigger than the one in Box Hill.
Really?
Oh, it's massive.
Jesus.
Like, so it's like 2 full, like, houses attached by this, like, fucking... So you've got these 2, like, basically the size of houses, or large flats, because it is 2 stories. And then you've got this middle area, which is this massive open space that's got a kitchen in it.
Oh, right.
So downstairs,
We're getting very hung up on this.
Well, this house is huge. So you got these 2 things. So you can...
Hega doesn't like to go off thoughts because she's too tired. She's literally going into in-depth detail, trying to explain to all of you
genuinely
the structure of this house.
I know, but it's genuinely the biggest house that I've ever been in. Okay. So let me start again.
No, that's not
so you have 2. I know that people can't see me doing this, and it will make more sense to Mike. But you've got these 2 big buildings here that are like a flat.
I got that bit.
Then you've got this big middle space here,
got that. And
then attached to these outer rooms, you've got a staircase that leads up to the top where there's a fucking balcony that goes across the top of the entire place, and then you can see down into the middle space, which is the kitchen. And at the bottom, I can't remember what was when you first enter the house, but right down the end they had like pool tables, like this whole like big area set up. They had this like cinema screen, which is where we watched Deadpool, and we watched them all on the beanbags.
Okay,
and I remember enjoying the film.
Thank you. That was I've got to release this to the public because that tangent, like, people won't believe me. That feels like that's truly a show that we are getting married because I've really rubbed off on you because you've just went on such a long, irrelevant. That was what you said to me.
My point is that I don't remember films. I remember the things that happened around them.
Right. Well,
it's like when you hear a song and you can be like, I know exactly where I was when I first heard that.
There's very few songs I remember that. I remember who showed me songs more so than where I was.
But... I remember hearing Taylor Swift's Love Story for the first time when I was at the gym.
Okay, good stuff.
And I was like, oh, this is good. Little did I know, Taylor Swift,
biggest artist in the world, or one of them. But the thing you always say is it's a long road. Was it? It was a long road.
It's a long walk for a small glass of water. I think it's
a long walk for a small glass of water. That was it. That was more of like a long hike for a drip of water in your face. I only say
I've never told you that story. Also, Mike, we've spent 6 years plus together.
We have.
So, like, when there's a story that we've not told each other, it is exciting because it's like, ooh, something new.
Yes, that is true. That is true. I love hearing it. I just think it is funny with me and tangents, and you just did that. So you watched Deadpool 1. Did you watch Deadpool 2 at such an intricate place, or did you see it at the cinema or something? Or
I feel like I saw that with you, didn't I?
I don't know, probably.
When did it come out?
Well, you apparently remember exactly where and who you saw films with.
But that was a different scenario for me because I'd never been to that person's house before.
Your leg. That was obviously, that thing is connected with a big memory, whereas this is like you and I probably during COVID watched.
Yeah, that was that house as well was the first time that I had biltong. Because the person's house who it was, he is South African.
Okay.
So it was like proper, like homemade, done biltong. It was really good.
I love biltong. I like jerky as well, but I think I prefer biltong.
Yeah.
For the most part. Okay, so
I think it was in Basildon.
Right. And then regarding Deadpool, so that's that. Please don't go through all of the X-Men films, but the X-Men films. Do you have an interest in Wolverine? Did you want to see him in this?
I like Wolverine.
You like him in the X-Men films and Logan, that kind of stuff? Because this film is heavily linking to Logan.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's my favourite X-Man.
Mm-hmm.
X-Men? X-person?
Well, that would work. I think X-Man.
Well, not even person. X-being.
I guess he's a person.
No, I know he's a person, but there are people that aren't, like...
Oh, that's well, they're all people. I suppose.
Humans. It's just because I think of Beast who becomes a monster.
Yeah, I guess they're still human. They're just mutated humans, aren't they? That's kind of the point. You're like the others, you're not the ones that hate them. So Deadpool and Wolverine. So I've seen trailers and marketing for this absolutely everywhere. On the YouTube channels that we often watch videos for, Puppy Interviews, Hot Ones, and a few others. Every single one of them, like this week, have all released Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds interview stuff. So they're doing a lot of press. I know that a lot of the Deadpool films have had, at least I think the last one did definitely, had Ryan Reynolds' marketing team. He made like a marketing company, I think, and he uses it to promote the Deadpool film specifically, and that's why they have
He must be absolutely minted.
Well, yeah, he was part of the Wrexham Football Club, and that was like super successful.
There's a song that's come out from Jimmy Fallon, and it's like a slam rap type thing between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman.
Oh, really?
It's done based on like Wolverine and Deadpool.
Wow.
I've seen it a couple of times. It's very like reminiscent of It's a Teeny Weeny Beanie, but not like to that point, but it's like a rap battle. I should find it, I should show it to you. I think you'll like it.
That's funny. And I think with the film, with the lead up to it, there's so much marketing and so much hype for it, and I was super hyped as well, because, I just wanted a funny action movie that was silly and stupid and over the top and self-referencing, and I think this film basically delivered on more or less everything.
Yeah,
it wasn't the best film.
I will say, as I've already mentioned, I did drive to and from the airport this day, and just before we went into the cinema, we both had are they called gyros?
Yeah.
Which is like a pita with meat and chips inside of it. It's Greek.
Yeah, and tzatziki and stuff. Yeah.
So I ate that, and then I was quite sluggish afterwards.
And we didn't have a coffee.
I hadn't had a coffee.
Cooler thing.
So when I went in, classic me, I did get sleepy.
You missed a couple of the bits.
I did miss a couple of the bits.
In the spoiler section.
I tried so hard not to fall asleep. I even asked Mike if he had any chewing gum. I was consistently drinking water. I even made my chair. Most of it, though, didn't you? I made my chair sit up, but there were a couple of bits where I like.
It's really the action scenes are the main bits that you kind of.
Yeah.
And one of the other bits, which I can't say because it's a spoiler. But did you enjoy it? Like what you remember?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah. Thought it was funny.
Yeah, I think the humour part is definitely the thing.
I find that sometimes the humour is a bit too much for me, like the consistent sarcasm and self-referencing. It gets a bit tiresome after a while for me. But I don't know if that's also because this is the third movie and they do it in every single one.
Yeah.
But
and they kind of do it in She-Hulk as well. Not to the same extreme degree of humour, but the kind of self-referencing meta stuff is present there. And I actually really like it in She-Hulk.
Because isn't there a cameo of Deadpool in She-Hulk? Or
No, I've just said that I would love for She-Hulk and Deadpool.
I feel like there's one of them where I feel like I've seen a clip where Deadpool's like, she's not the only one. I broke the wall first.
No,
Am I making that up?
I've said that I would love to see that.
I feel like I have seen it.
Well, maybe I just described it with such great storytelling. You've manifested it in your brain. But maybe. I've said that that would be my number one thing, is to see it in Deadpool or to see it in the MCU or something, is that She-Hulk and Deadpool both look at the camera and say something.
I feel like it was a post-credit scene.
Not to my knowledge.
I feel like I've seen it, Mike. I feel like it's like vivid in my brain.
Okay, I'll look it up in a minute. But the film itself, though, you enjoyed it. You thought the plot was a bit weak, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought the plot was a bit naff. I didn't think there was really much plot to it, but I also don't know if that's because I got tired at bits where it was plot heavy.
Plot heavy than action scenes.
But yeah, I thought the actual story of it was a bit lackluster.
That's fair. But you thought the humour landed.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I can't see anything specifically that says that they did a thing. It says She-Hulk nearly included a direct Deadpool reference. So they almost did, but She-Hulk's breaking the fourth wall is different to Deadpool's. Yes, there's not actually...
Okay. I guess I just dreamt it then.
Unfortunately. But, I think the film is good. I think the action scenes are over the top and cool, and it's quite... I don't think it's as good as the first one still, but I think it's probably better than the second one.
I can't believe it's only a 15.
Yeah, it's nuts. So much swearing. They say fuck all the time.
They say cunt a couple of times as well.
I think so, yeah. And they also, like, there's loads of blood. I know it's like, the gore is like cartoony kind of in a way, but it is quite graphic. Like, he stabs 2 dudes, like, in the dick right in the first scene. Like, graphically, and they're, like, screaming and stuff. And it's like, this is pretty intense. When I say graphically, you can't see the meshing of the flesh, but you can see the wearing suits.
The meshing of the flesh.
And the stabbing in it. But it pushes the boundaries. It does what a sequel to a comedy film always has to do, is basically it either becomes serious or it has to become funnier, and it has to raise the stakes in a lot of ways. And it does. I think it works for what it wanted. It's a great film. It's good fun. I enjoyed it. So would you give it out of 10, and then we'll talk a little bit about spoilers and then finish this up?
I think I'll give it a solid 7.
Just a 7?
If I was going to rewatch a film, I wouldn't be like gunning to watch Deadpool in general.
Would you be up for watching all 3 Deadpools?
Yeah, I'd be up for watching all 3 of them. Maybe if I watched all 3 of them, I can reassess and then give a better rating. Because again, I got sleepy.
Do you remember much about Logan?
No, I know. Well, I won't say that because that would be a spoiler.
But the main thing that people know about Logan, the ending, it's like something that you remembered.
Yeah.
Right.
I couldn't really tell you anything else about the film.
Right, that's fair. Okay, well, I'm going to give it...
I'm so shit at remembering stuff. It's really bad.
I think I'm going to give it an 8. 8 out of 10. I think if I had to rate Deadpool, it'd be an 8.5. And I think the...
We'll wait to do that because we're going to rewatch them.
Yeah, but at this point, I'd give it an 8.
Maybe we can rewatch them when we're in America. We'll have plenty of time, especially when we're in the Yosemite in the evenings.
Yeah, maybe.
Otherwise, we'll get eaten by a bear.
Well, to rewatch the third one, we then have to exit Yosemite to go and... So you have to watch the first 2 there and then wait for it to come out.
Yeah.
But, okay, so spoiler warning now. A little bit of spoiler. So, first of all, there's the Chris Evans cameo, which is the big one, it's played off to be like, oh my god, Cap's back. It's Captain America, yay. And it turns out it's Johnny Storm from Fantastic Four. You, assumedly, didn't really understand what was going on there.
I understood it because you've mentioned it, because I've not seen Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So I knew what it was referencing because you've told me that Chris Evans plays a character already as a different superhero.
Yeah.
So I got it, but yeah.
I think that was very clever. Like this film is so meta that you really have to like have really watched and understood the pre-MCU stuff. That's the funny thing about this film, because again, this is major spoilers for casting and cameos and all that sort of stuff. So you obviously got Chris Evans playing Fantastic Four. So this is the weird thing about him joining the MCU, where they kind of acknowledge the existence of the Fox era.
I guess they're just classing it as a parallel universe. So I guess in that case it would work because it's a different timeline, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clever because they bring out, I think it's Jennifer Garner as Elektra. Then it's Wesley Snipes as Blade.
Jennifer Garner didn't play Elektra in Daredevil, did she?
No.
Because that was a British woman.
I believe so. Yeah, it was a completely different person. But yeah, Jennifer Garner played Elektra also in the Daredevil movie.
Oh, right, okay.
She played in the Daredevil movie briefly, and then they did a spin-off movie called Elektra.
Right.
Which is not rated very well. It's got 4.7 on IMDb.
Jesus.
I remember watching it and thinking it wasn't great, but I didn't hate it. But then a lot of people fucking hate it.
Okay, so that makes sense as to why she played that character then.
Yes, yeah. So
I guess more people have probably seen those movies in comparison to the series, no? Movies are normally more popular.
It depends on the age of the person. I think people older than us would definitely remember her more, and I think with Daredevil, I don't know if more people have seen Daredevil the movie or if they've seen the Daredevil Netflix series. That's a very interesting question, which would probably have to be delved into another time. To be honest, I'm not sure. But yeah, you've got Wesley Snipes as Blade, and you've seen the first Blade film, but you can't remember it very well. But
I literally remember nothing about it. Does it have like a tower block in it, like a block of flats?
God, I can't remember.
Or am I getting that mixed up with that other film that's got whatchamacallit in it? Fucking Cersei Lannister.
Oh, you're thinking of Dredd.
That's got apartment blocks.
Yeah, so is the Raid. But you haven't seen the Raid. But yeah, Dredd. Dredd's what you're thinking of.
Right.
No, Blade is where he's a daywalker vampire, and he starts it's the nightclub scene and blood spraying out the sprinklers, and he goes around like killing loads of people, and it's all about like.
Is he a baddie?
No, he's a goodie. He's a daywalker vampire. His mum got bitten when she was pregnant, and so she gave birth to him, and he can walk around in the day, but he needs to drink blood. He's got none of their weaknesses or their strengths apart from the bloodlust.
Right.
There's the old guy who's got like the bad leg. Who's like.
So does he have super strength?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's basically got the strength of a vampire and all that stuff. We need to rewatch Blade and watch Blade 2 because I love Blade 2. And then watch Blade 3 and see Ryan Reynolds play.
Yeah, needs is a strong word there.
Because Ryan Reynolds plays a character that is very heavily linked to be Deadpool in Blade Trinity.
Didn't Ryan Reynolds leak Deadpool?
The footage. He has been asked in interviews and he has said, like, he's been very coy about it. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it's been like, he's basically not said no.
Because didn't this film
whoever did probably did it because they had faith in the product. They had faith that the internet would enjoy it. But I wouldn't know that. I can't remember if that's exactly what he said.
Yeah, because originally it got cancelled, didn't it? They weren't going to make it anymore.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what happened. But yeah, so Blade Trinity was in that, and then obviously he was in X-Men Origins Wolverine, and then they made Deadpool in that, and then they closed his mouth, which is like the main thing that made Deadpool, milk of the mouth. But so there's references to that, and then there's also another deep cut, which is Channing Tatum's Gambit, and that's because Channing Tatum was trying to make a Gambit movie, and they started doing stuff to do with it, and then it got cut. I don't know at what point in production it was when it got cut. But I feel like they did officially like announce it, but there's no trailer or footage or anything like that, I don't think. But so that's him and why he's Gambit in that, which is another fucking deep cut as well. It's not even about watching a film, that's about a film that didn't get made. So there's lots of clever things. I'm not going to just list them all, but those are like 3 quite major characters in it, as well as Chris Evans as Johnny Storm. So just loads of things like that. But the action scenes, like it starts off with a skeleton killing, using like Logan's skeleton that's covered in adamantium to like kill loads of people with. It's connected to Loki in some way, time variance authority. It's all about different versions of Deadpool, and there's the boss woman that's pretty cool.
The bald lady.
Yeah, she's pretty. I think the actress does a good job with the hands in people's faces. It's fucking horrendous.
Yeah, that was freaky.
It's horrendous when she's doing that bit.
That made me think of the thing that turned into the sausages. What was that?
I thought that as well. Everything Everywhere All at Once. When it first happens, when it comes out of his eyes.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing when I first saw it. I was like, what the fuck?
It made me think of the hot dog fingers.
I thought he was going to say, it's everything ever all at once-ing her. And then it turned out to be her hands. I was like, whoa, that was weird.
Yeah.
And then there's also all the villains there, like the guy can shoot fire and Juggernaut there in like the X-Men movies. So it's very much like recognising all the Fox stuff, like heavily so. It's more about the Fox movies than it is about the MCU. That's the weirdest thing. Apart from the TVA, it's basically barely touches the MCU. But yeah, fun, good film. Lots of weird tangents that this conversation has gone on that I didn't expect. But I've enjoyed talking about it loosely. It's an afterthought, so that's kind of the point. But really, really enjoyed the film. The cameos are fun. The action's fun. It's all good, but it's just not amazing. It's just a good movie. Yeah, that's all right. Awesome. Nothing else to add? Don't think so. Then there's nothing else to say, but thank you so much for listening, friends, and we'll speak to you in the future. Thank you. We'll see you in the future. When we're married. Ooh, why are we ghosts? I don't know. Bye. Bye. And a quick shout out to all of my incredible Patreon supporters who have made everything about Genuine Chit-Chat in the last few years possible, and that's Ria, Maff, Scott, Brett, Dan, Dave, Brian, Tonya, James, Margaret, Frank, and Tony. Thank you so much for all of you. You do not understand how much your support means to me. And if anyone else wants to join the Patreon, you can do it for only £1 a month and you get immediate access to over 250 episodes of Afterthoughts. That is hours and hours and hours of additional content that you can get in any place that you listen to podcasts. You copy the RSS link that you're given once you become a Patreon supporter, and then you can connect to Spotify, the Patreon app, any podcast player that you use, and also you get additional stuff, including early access to monthly M&M episodes. You get priority when choosing topics for it, and loads of other cool things too. So if you really enjoy the show, you want the wheels to keep on turning, and you want to help me just continually improve my equipment, the most recent thing I bought was a new webcam, so you can see that in all of my YouTube stuff, how much better that looks. But if you want to continue with that and keep on helping the show, supporting it, and also getting loads of bonus content, please consider going to patreon.com/genuinechitchat. But if that is too much to ask, please review, please like, please share, and tell your friends about the show. But thank you so much for listening. I hugely, hugely appreciate it.